Now, it is very important that you track what you're doing, because if you're not tracking, you're slacking, and what gets measured can grow. So you pretty much want to have some sort of a tracking system of your progress. So when you make a beat, you want to literally tick for the day, I made one beat. You made a melody, you want to tick for the day, I made a melody. And you want to do that for every single day, consistently, with no slacking. If you're watching this, chances are you're a producer who started making beats that just sit on your hard drive. You want to get placements, you want to make money off of music, but every time you get momentum, you fall off. You post a beat on socials and then you disappear for a week. And I completely understand, but here's the truth. Consistency is the key component that separates the producers who get placements and the ones who will never leave their bedroom. So in today's video, I'm gonna give you a simple secret, the same one that helped me go from just being another producer with a laptop to #1 Billboard charting producer with a gold record, working with artists like Asian Doll, 584, Frisco Leon, Dusty Locane, even collaborating with legendary producers like Aero Mafia, and also building a following of thousands of producers online. So if you want to know how to stay consistent and get closer to placements, let's get into the video. So most producers don't actually struggle with talent. The truth is, a lot of you guys are insanely talented already. The real problem is you're inconsistent. And let's also be real, it's not always your fault. Like, life gets in the way. There's school, there's work, there's family, there's some other responsibilities, of course. Or maybe sometimes there's also lack of motivation, lack of discipline, or you're scrolling through socials, wasting time without actually doing the work. But then you also look at the people that are succeeding and you feel like they're so far ahead of you and you kind of lose the steam. You know, the multitude of factors in the equation is pretty substantial, so we definitely need to take that into account. However, there's one thing that is always going to be true, and that is the fact that A&Rs, managers, producers, artists, they don't really care if you made 10 beats in one weekend and then nothing for a month. They care about who's reliable, who shows up every single time, and who they can really trust to send fire beats every single time consistently. And that's really why placements don't go to the most talented, but they go to the most consistent. So you may be asking me now, but Stepuz, how do I stay consistent? Don't worry, you're about to get some. Here's the simple secret. Stop relying on motivation and start building systems. The big problem with motivation is that it is temporary. It is fleeting, it is not always there, it is a luxury. If you have it, it is good, but if you don't have it, you're still gonna need to do the work. Do you understand? Whereas systems, they are permanent, they are fixed, they're always gonna be there. So when I was in my early stages of my production career, I was pretty much making a beat when I was feeling like. But then I realized that that's definitely not how it was gonna work. It could not work that way. So I then built a system that I could follow on a daily and weekly basis that could always keep me on track and stay as consistent as possible. And once I started doing that and stayed disciplined to the schedule, the consistency went through the roof. So here's what a system looks like. There needs to be some sort of a daily minimum. So instead of saying that this week you're gonna cook up 15 beats, you're gonna say that I'm gonna do my best to make sure to cook up 2 beats consistently. Even if they're trash, they're still gonna count, but I'm gonna make it my mission to make 2 beats every single day consistently. And it is very, very important that you finish also the beats that you don't feel like they are the best, because that momentum compounds. Another important thing that you have to have in your system is a dedicated time slot during the day. So basically what that means is having a non-negotiable time during the day in which you're gonna cook up, whether it is 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours, whatever, but every day you should know exactly at what time you're gonna be cooking up beats, whether it is beats, making melodies, or whatever. And what I suggest you doing is, of course, the very first thing that you want to do is to revolve this whole thing around all of the other activities that you have during the day. So if you go to work, if you go to school, you gotta find the time where you're gonna be making music, whether it is before school, after school, before work, or after work. But also, you want to know yourself. There's definitely moments throughout the day in which you know when you are the sharpest. And once you know that, you want to make sure that you use that time to be as productive as possible with music. And if you don't know that yet about yourself, you can just try experimenting with different hours throughout the day. But you need to find that sweet spot during the day in which you know that you work the best. Some people are more productive in early mornings, other ones that are more productive in the late nights. Like, you should find your own. Now, the third key component to your system is accountability and discipline. Now, it is very important that you track what you're doing, because if you're not tracking, you're slacking, and what gets measured can grow. So you pretty much want to have some sort of a tracking system of your progress. So when you make a beat, you want to literally tick for the day, I made 1 beat. You made a melody, you want to take for the day, I made a melody. And you want to do that for every single day, consistently, with no slacking. Now, the best way to stay on track with this is to have somebody that holds you accountable. Now, my students, they send me their beats every single week. And the thing with having someone that is waiting for your work really forces you to stay on point. So that's the reason why it is so important to have somebody that holds you accountable. So once I logged in the systems, I didn't have to actively think about being consistent. Like, it just happened. I was consistent by default, and that consistency really is what then led to building relationships, sending out packs, and then eventually landing placements with the artists that you know today. Now, unfortunately, consistency, it is not sexy. It is not some flashy plugin or industry hack, but it really is the reason why I've been able to work with major artists, being able to grow followers, and also, like, if you look at my YouTube channel, you can really see that there's been so much consistency for quite a lot of amount of time. So it is something that you can't fake. It is something that you can really see. And I promise you that all of the big producers that you look up to, all of the big artists, or like anybody that is actually successful on their whatever endeavor, they've been consistent for an extended period of time. So you can't cheat the process. Now, here's the thing. I know that building this is not easy, especially when you don't have someone checking on you, holding you accountable, and also really showing you every single step that you need to take in order to get placements. And that's exactly why I created an 8-week one-on-one mentorship program for producers. Inside, I work directly with you to build your systems, stay consistent, and really making sure that every week you get closer to getting placements. You get weekly calls with me, private WhatsApp access so you never get stuck, personalized tasks, and guaranteed collaborations with me. Now, like I always say, I don't take on everyone. This is only for the producers who are serious. But if you've been watching till so far, there's something telling me that you really want producing to be your reality. And I also know that you're tired of trying to figure it out alone. So this is exactly the chance that you've been looking for. Check the link down below in the description and book a completely free call with me, and from there we're gonna see if you're a good fit for the program. And if you're ready to stop being inconsistent, this is the step that changes everything. The link is down below, and I'm gonna see you on the call. Alright, my bro, hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.